Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In today's video, we're going to continue on with our Napoleonic project where we are working on our buildings. We're painting them, and I've decided to go ahead and do each building in its own video. So in this video, we're going to be looking at this outhouse barn, and the first thing I want to do is I want to paint this roof. I've decided that I'm going to paint it metallic. I'm going to use the P3 paint called pig iron. Because I want it to be like a hot tin roof, you know what I mean? Not really, but I want it to be metallic. Silver, kind of, in a way. But I do want it to be kind of weathered. And that's why I chose pig iron. And I think I can still do washes and some weathering on it later as well. We'll see. Right now, I'm going to have to probably put 2 coats on here because this pig iron, I thinned it down a little bit. And I don't think it likes this flat red. Because I can see, well, I can leave the flat red shining through, actually. Because that would maybe look a little bit like rust. But I think the best way to do rust is to put it on top of the metal and not have it be underneath the metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 coats. I'm getting the sides, but I also want to get the underside where the roof overhangs. I mean, you might not ever see that spot, but just for thoroughness. Now it's going on top of this brown, no problem at all. 1 coat wonder. But you know, we had problems with the tippy top, the apex, where some of the paper was shining through. Yeah, that red shining through, it doesn't actually look bad at all. It actually gives it a weird look. But I am still going to do 2 coats. If the red still shines through in certain spots, that'll be perfectly fine. I think it'll add to its allure. Okay. Well, we're going to let that dry before I do any more work on this barn. I'll see you in just a second. All right, guys, we're coming back with the barn. And what I'd like to do is take this dark brown and lighten it up with Model Masters wood, right? And what we'll do is it'll be a quick brush. I'm not trying to stay in the lines. I'm not trying to get a great coverage. I'm just trying to lighten it up, almost highlight it a little bit, and let the paint soak. So a lot of that dark brown is going to shine through. It's not going to be a complete coverage. There we go. And it's going to be like that. But I'm going to do all of the panels here. just like that, right? So let me go ahead and do all of that across this entire barn, and then I'll be right back. All right, so now that little barn looks a little bit more like rustic, or, what do they call it? Barn wood. We'll let that sit off and dry before we get back to it. All right, see you in just a minute. All right, we're back with the completed or finished barn. Now what I've done is I painted this a dark brown, but then I did kind of a scrubbing. Some people call it an overbrush, or I call it wet brushing, because it's not a dry brush, right? It's kind of like a dry brush, but there's more paint on the brush than a dry brush. And I basically just turned the shed, or the barn, into kind of like a weathered, maybe a rustic or a barn wood, old wood kind of shed. I painted the roof with the pig iron, but then I put some rust spots on there with dry rust. And then once all that was done, I went ahead and applied a dark tone wash to the entire model. And then once that was dried, I went back with this ultra matte to kind of dull everything out. I even put it on this metallic, but the metallic still retained a little bit of its shine, which I actually love. All right, so now I'm using this for my Napoleonics game, Marshals and Generals, and you'll never have to put a figure inside of a building, because buildings are actually in town sectors. But if I was playing a skirmish game like Flames of War or a Battle Group or something like that, I was curious to know if I could put like a Flames of War base inside the model. So let's see. Won't go that way. And it will go that way if you put your figures. Now I could have constructed this set without this center wall. If I did that, then a base would fit inside. But right as it sits, only maybe a small base would fit. All right, so again, I made all these Sarissa buildings for the Napoleonics game, and I'm doing a video for every one of the buildings. So be sure to come back and check out each video for each of the buildings, and I'll see you in the next one.